Hey everybody, KC here. So the Wall Street Journal had a story the other day about how America is about to start shrinking. And I'm not talking landmass here. They weren't talking landmass, although that could happen too with climate change, rising seas. Parts of the United States could probably find themselves underwater at some point in the not too distant future. But no, they were talking about population. Because the Census Bureau has basically come out with a report saying that the U.S. is going to stop growing by 2080 and may shrink slightly by 2100. A couple of things at work here. Fewer births, more deaths. Here's one of the things the report says. Slowing growth would produce a peak U.S. population of almost 370 million before an ebb to 366 million in the final years of the century, according to the Bureau. The projections, the first issued since 2018, reflect years of declining birth rates, higher death rates because of an aging population, and increased reliance on immigration for population growth. The shift will weigh on the U.S. economy and its geopolitical standing, with fewer young workers to support the elderly. I'm not happy about that. Entitlement programs such as Social Security and Medicare would face greater strains. Population decline could broadly reorient a society that grew explosively well into the 20th century. This is fascinating stuff to me. The annual growth rates have fallen from 1.2% in the 90s to 0.5% today, and would fall to 0.2% by 2040. Small differences add up through compounding. The projected U.S. population in 2040 is 355 million, 25 million fewer than projected for that date in 2015. The difference is more than the current population of Florida. In 2022, preliminary data showed that the U.S. birth rate was about 19% lower than in 2007, and death rates remain about 9% higher than 2019, the last year before the pandemic. And here's a line from the story that just really grabbed me. By 2038, that's only 15 years from now, deaths will exceed births under the most likely scenario. Deaths will exceed births in the United States. Now, this doesn't even factor into the number of people out there who may not want to bring kids into the world as it exists today. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it if I were in the position where I was thinking about having kids. And marriage rates? Listen, there have been reports out there that 2 in 5 of young adults think that marriage is an outdated tradition. And if they think marriage is an outdated tradition, what are they likely to think about having kids? But let's underline, they talk about having an economic impact, and that sort of sounds abstract. But if you're a retailer, here's the cold, hard fact. There are going to be fewer people to whom you can sell things. Fewer people, and they're going to probably buy less. Just because the world has always been a certain way doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. And it seems to me that retailers have to start thinking now about what the world's going to look like in 2038, 2040, 2050, and start preparing for that now. Not a lot of changes you have to make in the immediate moment, but you have to start preparing for that. You have a lot of companies out there that are consolidating, and the consolidation that's happening may put them in a better position to grab a larger piece of a market that is actually shrinking. Companies have to start to figure out how to deal with that. Anyway, that's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.